Hey, friends, welcome back to the Energy Matters podcast. I'm David. I am back with my co host, Cody Edner. Hey, Cody.
Hey, David.
It's great to see you again. And we are doing
Yes, it is.
yeah, we're doing a special episode on intuitive development because once a year or so, we start a new intuitive training. And it's coming around again towards the end of March 2022 here. And, it's a very kind of mysterious topic. It can be very woo woo. It could put some people off. It can attract the crazies. Everyone's like, what is it exactly? Are you a wizard? Are you a shaman? Are you a psychic? Are you a healer? Are you talking to dead people? Like, what's going on here, David? So we'll try to demystify it for you as much as we can and share, our experiences with it. Cody's been teaching it for close to 40
A
years.
while.
I've been at it for 13 years, going on 14 years, I think. So I've been at it a while too. And,
Your
out of
age is
all the,
starting to show there, David.
I know. No, Zoom takes it out. Zoom makes your
Oh,
skin clear.
oh, you got a filter. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's right. I got a filter. I'm actually 71 years old. Great moisturizer. So um, maybe we could share in this episode, kind of what the training is and, how you go through it, what the experience is like, maybe also some of our own personal experiences as teachers, as students, what we've seen people really get out of it. I know for me, I've done a gazillion different kinds of spiritual trainings from I've done Reiki in India, pranic healing, hands-on healing, all sorts of different kinds of trainings. And for me, the intuitive development has always been like the coolest, deepest, most profound spiritual energetic training I've ever done, which is why I continue to teach it. It's definitely something I do out of passion. And I don't think it's for everyone. I think it's for a small percentage of people who have done some other work and who really lean in the spiritual direction and are interested in learning how to see, read energy, and heal. And it's just super, super fun. My inner spiritual nerd gets so much out of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you started when you were like 14 down this path. I started when I was about 16.
Right.
And I mean, I went and lived in India and all these different places, searching. And then I ended up in Hawaii training. And it wasn't until I learned these tools that I really felt like I was able to, get more stable on my path. So I don't know about for you, but for me, every time a student comes to me or a client, no matter what question they ask, it's always pretty much the same question, which is like, what's my next step? Like, how do I heal this? So is my next step healing? What action step do I take? How do I know who the right partner is? The career step, the creative step, whatever it is. They're almost pretty much always asking, how do I see and find my own answers? And I think that's what this training offers the most is a way to close your eyes and develop tools that help you see and find and know your own answers. That's a really simple way to put it. How would you frame it?
That's a great way to put it. And I like the idea of the inner spiritual nerd, because I definitely have one of those. And the mystery of it all, the spiritual nerd likes to pursue and seek out the mystery. But the thing that I think is often hard to articulate and really needs to be shared is that it's got tremendous practical uses to learn how to go into the place that we take people to in the inner self, to seek out and find your own answers or become aware of what's happening with the energetics behind any given situation or scene. It has a lot of applications for practitioners in what we might consider the healing arts or wellness arts, or human potential arts. Like, I have over the years taught so many people that from psychologists, that level, all the way over to body workers and everything in between. So people working with the mind to people working with the body and everything in between, where they bring these tools and this awareness into their practice to enhance what they're doing and to go deeper into their understanding even of what it is they're doing. Because when you start to connect with the deeper energy or spiritual side of something, you get more information about what's really happening within that interaction or that movement or that creation. It's kind of
Yeah.
endless, and that one of the tricky things about this work has always been that it's not a one and done. It's a practice that you're learning. It's something that you start to incorporate into how you see things and see the world. So it has the inner meditative aspect where you can go really deep, and then it has this outer aspect where it changes how you interact with the world, or you begin to change how you interact with the world.
Yeah. And to give some kind of real world examples, like you said, a psychologist. So you might, if you're a therapist, psychologist, coach of some kind, you might be sitting across from a client, and you may, through this kind of training, learn how to see energy. So you see beyond what they're saying to you. Maybe you start to see colors, images, you get an intuitive hit or a sense, oh wow, this person is really in pain, or they're stuck, or I see this old programming from a family member. You start to ascertain information kind of in a new way that's hard to describe, but you may see, feel, hear, know. You just start to
Right.
sense energy.
Yeah, you get the intuitive aspect of your interactions that's always there becomes a little bit more heightened. So maybe you get that intuitive information with a little bit more clarity, or a little bit sooner, or with enough awareness to kind of see a next step with it that
There's
lets
yeah,
guides you a little bit. Yeah.
there's a caveat to that, Cody, which I've noticed. I've worked with so many healers, teachers, coaches, and a lot of them have some intuitive sense already. But what
Yes.
happens is they'll see an image or they'll get a feeling, and then they'll start to over interpret it, and they'll start
Mhm.
start to color it with their own experience. They'll start to color it with advice. And that's when I think it turns a lot of people off or sends them in the wrong direction. It's like the person senses an energy and then says, this is what you should do with your life, or that's the wrong partner for you, or that's not a good step for your business. Or I see an image of a hawk and I'm interpreting it as this. Those are all the wrong things to do in my
Right.
book. And that really
Yes.
spins people out. And it happens 99% of the time with people who have intuitive abilities that are not developed well and that haven't gone through proper training. Like, I don't care how good you are at biology or biochemistry or whatever. If you haven't gone to school to be a surgeon, you're not opening up my chest. Right? I don't care how much raw natural talent you have. Like, don't touch my energetic body until you have proper training, because maybe you don't know how to communicate right or how to approach it in the right way, and you overinterpret or you intellectualize or you color it yourself. I see this happening all the time. And as a teacher of the intuitive arts, it drives me nuts. I'm
Right.
like, don't do all of those things. Don't program people's futures. Don't give them advice. So, what we
Right.
train our students to do is to be able to see an image and then to know what the energy behind the image is, not to intellectualize it or interpret it. We're not giving you a book, a dream book that says this, an eagle means this and a fire means that. None of that. Every image, every feeling, everything you sense, you learn how, it's like an ability you sharpen. You learn how to know what it is and not have to bring the intellectual part of you to interpret it. That's where everything kind of starts to get lost in translation and where people spin out. For me, that's one of the most important parts of being a healer, teacher, guide, intuitive, is doing it with clarity, doing it with a clean energy, and really only saying hello to what's true for that person without any of your own agenda or your own coloring.
Right.
And that goes for anything in life, right? The better, the more you can be neutral and clear with your communication, the better.
Yes. Right. Which certainly you just said that the word neutral, which is one aspect of what we're teaching people. It's not just how to see the image, it's what to do with what you start to become aware of when you activate that energy awareness or that intuitive awareness and focus on it. And just as much as you need to know what and how to say something that you're seeing, you also need to know what to leave alone and let be there. And so there has to be enough awareness to know or have the insight about what gets pushed a little bit or spoken to and what gets left alone or just acknowledged in the background.
And what,
And it's an
how,
art. It really is an art to do the
and
right
what
thing.
not to, yeah, and what not to absorb. So a lot
Mhm.
of healers just, they touch an energy, see it, feel it, and they become it, they absorb it, and they feel like shit later. And they're over empathic and they don't know how to manage that energy. And I think being intuitive means being empathic. But, in training, we learn that, that's one ability, but it's not actually usually the safest ability to start with. So we teach people how to see, how to know energy, and how to maybe really kind of regulate and manage that feeling ability in a healthier way, so you don't become the pain that you see in others when you're healing them or reading them. Let's jump into maybe some of the more kind of structural parts of the training too, so people can get a sense of what it's actually like when you go through it. um, the way we break the training down is into 4 parts. So level 1, which is what starts in March, is the part of the training where you learn the tools. So like how to ground yourself, how to run energy through your body in a healthy way, how to have boundaries, right? How to get into the center of your head so you're oriented, so you know how to see, right? How to see energy. All of these kind of foundational tools so that you could become a good healer, reader, coach, guide, whatever it is. So level 1 is kind of like the foundation. Um, and then what we do is we're going to be offering a couple of tracks. So you can go on to levels 2, 3, and 4 and become an intuitive reader, which scares the shit out of a lot of people. Like, close my eyes and look at somebody else. No way. But yes way. We found that's one of the most powerful ways to teach somebody how to work with energy, because it gets you out of your own way to be able to look into someone else. And the more you master that, the more you're able to see inside yourself. They become really great mirrors to work on yourself. So I know it's scary, and I hated the idea of doing it. When I first did my training, I was like, there's no way I'm closing my eyes and doing some kind of weird energy work with someone else. No way. But I
Right.
learned to love it. Yeah, I'm
And yet
sure you
when
had the
you
same
yes,
experience.
it's scary. And yet when you actually start to see someone's aura, and it's not just about the reading part of it is what's scary. It's like speaking what you see is scary. But when you do start to see the energy flow in someone and you see an aura or an energy field around someone, it's so exciting. It's so mesmerizing to like suddenly be in that place of perception. And we certainly teach that. And I think one of the foundational things we teach um, you mentioned most of them, but the one that stands out to me is how to process energy. So you're not just opening up and stuck with what you see, but you're learning how to process through anything that you run across and release energy and heal yourself. So the whole process is grounded in an idea of healing yourself so that
Yeah.
you become a healthy intuitive and you maintain being a healthy intuitive.
I think it's a turnoff for a lot of people in the spiritual, energetic healing arts, is when they see all these ungrounded people with their eyes just like way too open,
Right.
and the 10 pounds of crystals on, and they're overly empathic, and it's just like this kind of, it's too much out there. And it really doesn't have to be. I mean, I work with CEOs and creatives of all different shapes and sizes, business people, you know, parents, any people in any part of life, in any stage, in any area, and they take these tools and they use them to develop whatever they're working on in themselves and in their life. It doesn't mean you go be some wild spiritual healer out in the world. Maybe you become a grounded spiritual healer, or you become a better CEO or a better mom or a better partner, because now you know how to manage energy. That's really the treasure you get out of it, is you come out the other side going, I know how to ground myself. I know how to let go of pain. I know how to
Right.
get unstuck from an old belief or memory or trauma. I know how to find my own answer. A lot of people will be like, I close my eyes and I don't see anything, or I try to find an answer. I just feel more confused and it's super frustrating. So, how do you learn to see through the frustration, confusion, the clouds of energy, and actually get your answer and not intellectualize, like, is this really my answer or am I just thinking that? How do I know?
Right.
Again, that's an ability you develop through training, that knowingness and that certainty.
And I think it does take a few tools to get there,
Yeah.
which is what we teach, are some really simple tools, that simple in the sense that they're immediate, you can use them immediately and they immediately create results. And that's really powerful.
And down the line shit can get trippy.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you're at work or somewhere at a party and you're having a conversation with someone and there's words coming out of their mouth, but then they're kind of smacking you in the back of the head with invalidation, or they're pulling on you. You could feel a cord in your stomach. They're like they want something from you, or you could see some dark agenda behind them, or the other, or vice versa. Maybe you the other way around, where you go, oh wow, this is a great match for me, or this person's going to become a great friend, or I could see this synergetic healing that we're having. You start to see all of these other dimensions and levels of energy that are happening other than just speaking, right? So you expand your field of awareness in all of these dimensions, and it's really fun to play with. You might go, wow, I see everybody in the world who's ungrounded. I see everyone who's floating out of their bodies. I see everyone who's stuck in their heads. You start to learn how to see these things in others and in yourself, heal them, and then become a really well-rounded person. And I mean, that's what it's done for me. Obviously, I'm nowhere near perfection. I mean, well, maybe on some days, but I've definitely noticed a massive shift in my life over the last decade of using these tools and being able to manage my own energy. So, so we've got that kind of level 1 foundational work, and then levels 2 through 4, you learn how to really be an amazing reader, and you come out the other side. I think everybody comes out the other side. They come out a different person in a healthy way.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Sure.
then we have the other path, which is, maybe you don't want to read and maybe you just want to do the healing arts. And so we're going to have levels 1 through 3 in the healing arts. So if hands-on healing, energetic healing, all different kinds of healing work in the spiritual realms. We have some amazing healing teachers, and you can do both. I mean, when I did my intuitive training, I did both at the same time, kind of dual tracks. Yeah, and they were really complementary to each other. And then we have about 10 teachers in the Energy Matters Academy that teach these trainings. Obviously, me and Cody are here. We do some of the teachings, but we have an incredible group of teachers. They all have like a minimum of 10 years of training and teaching, some of them north of 20. And I mean, we've got so many cool people. I'm just in awe that they're all here teaching with us, and you get to experience them. And every month, if you're in the intuitive training, you get to meet with one of the teachers for a one-on-one, which is part of it, and do some energy work with them. So it's a very high touch program. So we have class every week, and then we also do practicums and reading spaces or healing spaces most weeks out of the month. So there's like the actual lecture, the class, and then there's a place to come practice and work with other students and meet them and really become part of a really cool network of people, and hopefully make some new amazing friends for the rest of your life. And yeah, it's not just about sitting, listening to lectures and absorbing information. It's mostly a doing and a practicing kind of training.
Right. And it's not just about going inward to a meditative place. I mean, there is that aspect of it. And that, to me, that's always been just so powerful, to have a meditative practice, to be able to go in and get in touch with and work through energy and see energy and work in that way. But I think the practicum really is a place to explore how you take these tools and information out into the world, which is all interactive. We live in an interactive world. And the only way to really get experience with that is in interactions with other people. And so the lecture part, or the guiding and informative part, is there, but then the place where you would interact with others that are learning about this information, or interact with others in looking at energy and feeling energy and becoming more aware of energy. That's really where it kind of explodes into a whole new arena, because you start to be able to take it out into the world with a lot of confidence, essentially, and with a bit of certainty that it's happening.
It's kind of crazy because people always ask me, like close friends of mine, hey, I want to do that training, but you're a good friend of mine. Maybe I shouldn't do it with you. Can you recommend other places to do this kind of training? And I'm honestly always at a loss. Like, all the best teachers I know are in the Energy Matters Academy for this realm. And I'm like, I don't know of another place that teaches it the same way, with the same rigor, that I feel super comfortable with the teachers. It's a very delicate thing. And I feel like a lot of spiritual trainings out there for me just don't feel safe. They don't feel grounded enough. They don't feel safe. It doesn't feel like there's enough structure, enough attention to each student. Like, for example, we have Slack channels for every level. You could go in there every day and ask questions, and you could set up one-on-ones with your teachers whenever you want, if you need extra ones, and you can ask questions in class and in the practicums. It's just a very robust, very rigorous kind of training. And it's hard to find. A lot of trainings are just kind of listen to this recording and move on, and you're done. And after a couple of healing sessions, you got a certificate. And we're like, no, you want this certification by the end, which we do give. You got to really do the work.
Yeah. One of the things I like about the Slack channels is that people share what they're going through. So, if you're one that doesn't put yourself out there and share a lot, you get to kind of see what other people are going through, and you might go, oh, I'm not the only one. So, you don't have to share, but enough people share that there's kind of this sense of community, and also this kind of sense of the growth and the miracles that are happening really come out in that Slack channel, as well as in class a bit. So it's kind of fun to see that, though. I enjoy that part.
And if you don't know what Slack is, it's just a communication software that we use, super easy to set up. And you can see everybody on there and see their comments and share links and stuff. It's just kind of like a big chat.
Kind of like a group chat, but through an app.
Yeah. How's your wild intuitive development going? Ah, I see dead people. Someone's like, I want to learn how to see dead people in the future.
I saw my first dead person.
Yeah. That's later. That's later in the training. And by the way, you don't become all knowing. I think people mistake seeing energy and being intuitive for being all knowing. Like, oh, shouldn't you know everything already? No. I mean, you have eyes, maybe they're 20/20 vision. You could see a certain distance, but you can't see all the way around the world. You can't see everything. Obviously not, right? We have high power telescopes that could see more. We have infrared that could see certain directions, ultraviolet, right? We have X-ray. So there are different kinds of intuitive abilities where you could see into different dimensions and different angles. But are you ever perfect and know everything? No, that's ridiculous. You're developing a skill, and you could be the Michael Jordan of that skill, or you could be an amateur beginner. But I always say that the best students are not like the most, like, quote unquote, intuitive or spiritual. Those people tend to be annoying, like over the top. Oh, everything's happening to me. I actually find kind of average, kind of middle of the road. I'm interested in spirituality. I have a personal life happening here, a career, whatever it is, and I want to develop myself and my tools. They tend to have the longest runway when it comes to their training and what they get out of it. People who are able to ground and really find the practical aspects useful of this kind of training and integrate them. So maybe like one of my goals with these kinds of trainings is to make it available to everybody, to demystify it, to go, hey, yeah, you know what? you can see energy. That might
Right.
trip some people out, but it's actually not that big of a deal. You do it already. You just don't maybe realize it, and you don't have a structure for it. And once every month or 6 months or 2 years, you get some kind of big intuitive hit. And you're like, wow, that was cool. And then you just leave it alone instead of going, wow, that's a miracle. Let me build some foundation and some structure around it so I
Right.
can make it happen every day. Maybe it happens in your dreams, right? It starts to just
Yeah.
become a part of who you are, and it adds an aspect to who you are.
Yeah. And I think it's an aspect of self. It's an aspect of everybody that we have this intuitive ability and these awarenesses. And oftentimes we don't have a language with which to like tap into it and go a little deeper into it and or share it with other people. So we're kind of on our own having many of these experiences. And
Yeah.
a lot of
And
what
it,
happens in the class is we begin to be able to not only validate the experiences, but have a language to share it with others and have it validated in many ways.
that's what I was going to say is it's so validating. I remember I was working with a student once years ago, and we were working on her creative space, and I was doing a little healing reading work. And I said, I see this really fascinating pictures of puppies, before their eyes open. So when puppies are born, their eyes don't open, I don't know, for a few weeks or whatever it is, days, I'm not sure. I forget. Well, I hear my cat meowing, meow, David, Cody, let me in on the show. um, so I said, I see this picture of puppies before their eyes open, and it's sitting right in your creative space. And she goes, whoa, that's crazy. I literally just wrote an article for a magazine that's not out yet called Puppies Before Their Eyes Open. And I put all of my creative energy into that article. And that image was just kind of floating around her. And with my eyes closed, I could see it. And then all I did was, I didn't have to tell her the future or anything. I just validated, hey, I on a deeper level can see what you're working on. And that is such a cool feeling to be seen beyond our physical bodies, right? Beyond
Mhm.
our, like, this is how much money I have or who I know or what, all that stuff. Like you could see into a deeper dimension. And when you start to be able to see that in others, you can start to see it in yourself. And it just brings a whole new quality to life. It's so, so cool to watch people open up in those ways. It's pretty magical.
Mhm. And you start to see it in the world, and the world becomes a little bit more magical because it really is. I mean, it really is a place where creativity and energy and expression and magic is happening all around us. And it's so easy to not see that because of the pressures and the struggle and the invalidation that happens in the world. So it does help us recapture. I think it really helped me, and I think it helps others. I've seen it recapture this part of oneself that we had. It's almost like a remembering of the self that happens,
Yeah.
uh, that we came into the world having many of these abilities and kind of lost ourselves to the world, and we get to refind ourselves through
Mm.
this process.
I just did a survey for my students asking them the most common issues they have. And the two most common answers were anxiety and finding purpose. And I
Mhm.
think when you start to learn how to awaken that, let's call it mind's eye, third eye, ability to see energy, you can look at that. What is causing my anxiety? What's the true root cause? You can start to see that in your own meditation and start to heal it. And then same with purpose. Well, what is my purpose? It's not enough to intellectualize it or to have me tell you or Cody or anybody else. But once you really see a level of your purpose or a number of levels of purpose in your own meditation and kind of know it at a very deep spiritual level, it changes something about the quality of your life when you integrate that into who you are. So whatever, or healing, right? So whatever issue it is or issues you're wanting to work on, these tools really help you go deeper. That's why I'm super excited to do this training again. And again, we only do it once a year, once every 2 years, and it's coming around again this March 2022. And if you want to do it, the link is in the description somewhere. somewhere here.
You don't
Energy
know which way
Matters.
to point. It's up down there, up there.
Yeah. energymattersacademy.com, and email us if you have any questions about it, if you're not sure. And if you can't afford it, we do some scholarships. Just let us know what's up. We want everyone to be able to do this training and shift your life. So that's what it is. Intuitive Development 2022. Here we come.
Here we are, 2022. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. It has been a couple of years. We did our last one. We started it in early 2020. Well, probably March 2020. The one that you and I did. It was really, really quite the miracle. The changes were so tremendous to hear what people went through and the transformation they experienced. It's always kind of a validation as a teacher to see that transformation happen and see how people change themselves throughout the training, and oftentimes their lives. They take steps in a new direction, or in a direction they've been trying to go toward for a long time, and things tend to break free, and they get unstuck or move forward. So
it's pretty cool.
I'm excited about that.
So if you want to know what our secret sauce is, this is it. This training is the secret sauce. Yeah. Thank you for hanging with me, Cody, and for everyone for listening to this episode. And maybe we'll see you in intuitive training. Maybe you've already done it and you're just hanging out. Yeah, it was so good. And be well, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode of the Energy Matters podcast. High five to your soul. Love you all. See you soon.
Thank you, David, and see you all.